When you next overreact in anxiety, rejection, or anger, try to distinguish between present reality and the echoes of past experiences. So, welcome everybody to our YouTube channel, Life is for Living. I'm your host, Kylie Buckley, and I'm here with David J. Riddell from the School of Living Wisdom. Welcome, David.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
For those of you that don't know David, David is a renowned teacher for psychotherapists and counsellors, mainly here in New Zealand, but also throughout the world. He is an author and a public speaker. So welcome to our channel, David. And today we are going to be discussing anxiety, stress, phobias, and panic. So one question I have, David, with these topics, what's actually behind it all? What's behind fear and anxiety generally?
Well, succinctly put, it's the brain signaling danger. There's the warning, warning, warning. There's the sense of danger. And we have understood that you can also become fixated on danger so that the sense of danger actually becomes a default mood. And some people live on the edge, shall we say. They're always slightly stressed. They're doing what we call crucializing in their subconscious. Their mind is subconsciously crucializing everything. It doesn't really matter what it is. If they were a sewing machine, the tensioner would be up too tight and they would be regularly snapping threads. Now, the tensioner that I mentioned there, and those of you who have used sewing machines will be familiar with the analogy, and those that don't will not be familiar with it. But the subconscious can be set up to a certain degree of tension. And as a result, they're doing what we call crucializing. And the crucializing is the sense that there is danger present. And so the question that I ask as a therapist is, how real is the threat? How much of it is real? How much of it is imagination? There's all kinds of dangers, aren't there? uh, Falling off a ladder is one danger, but the danger of being rejected by somebody you love is a different kind of danger. The danger of breaking a bone or the danger of being in a car that's going too fast is quite a different kind of danger to somebody rejecting you, abandoning you, or coming to the wrong conclusion about you. So we have emotional danger, we have real danger, we have imagined danger. And for a counselor or therapist like myself, I'm always trying to work out, is the risk real or imagined? A mother with a child who has a serious medical condition, that's a real threat, and she knows it. But a mother who is paranoid over the safety of her child, that's an imagined threat. And the big job for all of us really is to work out whether our fears, and we're all prone to them, aren't we? Whether our fears are real or imagined. That's problem number one.
Right. So if they are imagined, what's going on inside there? Is it because there's a situation that happened years ago, like an echo, and they are reflecting back to that, and it was so traumatic that for them that they are fearful of that actually happening here today, yet today it's a whole different circumstance, different people, different time, a different place.
You know,
um,
Kylie, some fears are real and some are imagined, and we're always trying to work out how realistic is this danger. Is it what the Bible calls a vain imagining? The wicked flee though nobody is chasing them. Sanballat and Tobiah, uh, all these things you are threatening, you're making them all up in your head when Nehemiah was rebuilding the wall of Jerusalem. And we've got to work out whether we need to take captive every thought or whether we need to assess the danger as real and do something real about it. Some of my friends are cautious and prepared for eventualities like earthquake, fire, or hurricane. Others of them be more like hoarding. And I think that if they're hoarding, then it may well be an imagined fear rather than a real fear.
Yes. Well, David, I encourage everybody to get your book of daily insights. I'll just see if I can bring that up there on the camera. And in it, it has truth statements. And there's a lot of them that deal with your emotions. And one of them is get control of your feelings before your feelings get control of you. Emotions are not a reliable guide to how things are.
And of course, the more traumatized your childhood, the more exposed your childhood, the more traumatic your childhood, the more likely it is that your feelings are actually unrealistic. And so we teach people to learn to challenge their feelings and to challenge their attitudes and to ask themselves, is this realistically based or is this historically based? If you've had a fairly traumatic childhood, or parents who exposed you to various kinds of trauma, then the likelihood is that you're not assessing the situation realistically. And so you need to speak back to your feelings. And sometimes you need to tell them to sit down and be quiet. They're only echoes. Emotion-based reasoning is a big problem in our society today, and more people are doing emotion-based reasoning, in my view. This is what we call living in an emocracy, and not a democracy, an emocracy. And so an emocracy is where people run their lives and end up a loop. The more they fear, the more they end up in trouble.
Right. David is away on holiday at the moment in a camping ground, so the reception is not so good, and we just lost you there, David. Can you just repeat that last part, the last sentence or two?
Yes. Yeah. In a society of people that rule their lives by their feelings and dictate their lives by their emotions, we could call that an emocracy rather than a democracy or an autocracy. It's people where moods are the prevailing truth, and people live according to their own truth. And so all things become relative. There is no absolute truth to guide our lives by. And therefore, in the absence of absolute truth, relative truth slash emotions become the new reality. And the new 10 commandments are reduced to just one. If you feel it, then it must be true.
Very interesting. Yet we know that our emotions do lie to us. It's only your perception too, and sometimes you need to investigate the matter to really learn all aspects and to see if what you are thinking and feeling is correct.
And that's why it's good to have a mentor or a friend whose guidance you trust, somebody who can say to you, you know what, you're stewing in your own juice, you're making it all up, your mind is getting away on you, you better call it back to heel.
Yes,
We
yes.
all need a friend like that.
I like this other truth statement of yours. The degree to which you can forgive is largely dependent on the degree to which your insights have released you from all sense of victimhood, too. That's a good one as well.
I I would like to suggest that it's actually impossible to forgive somebody as long as you believe yourself to still be in the grips of victimhood, as long as you still think of yourself as their victim, as long as they have the winning hand at all times, then it's actually impossible to forgive them. Victims don't forgive. You need to discover the overarching hand of God, the truth of Romans chapter 8, verse 28, and the realization that actually, even in victimhood, you can become an overcomer and you can take charge. It's one thing to be powerless, it's another thing to wallow in it.
Yes. Okay. So, can you speak a little bit more into that, David? I think.
Yes, Joseph in Genesis chapter 50, verse 20, reminds us that what men meant for evil, God intended for good, and that God is often at work for good through our suffering and through our victimhood, that we emerge a better person, not a bitter person, and we emerge knowing that nobody can take our power away from us unless we give it away. And those truths and those insights means that we become invincible and indestructible, and there's no longer a big person who can destroy or wreck our lives.
Yeah, so it's about getting your power back, which in turn will help any anxiety or stress that you're feeling in regard to a relationship or circumstance.
Yes, the bully, the control of the abuser, still has power over you even decades later if you still believe that there's nothing you can do to recover or repair from that damage.
Right, right. So, I mean, I could ask, what is your best advice for those that are suffering from those circumstances which just seem enormous to them, where somebody has done something very bad to them or caused them great distress? What do you have some key elements there that would, or points from your years of experience that we can share today to help those?
Yes, realize that hurting people hurt others. They only hurt you because they were hurting. They dumped their own pain on you. So think of them as a cracked mirror or a distorted mirror that should not be taken personally. You were looking into a distorted mirror. You got some distortions back. Your trust was betrayed. But having said that, the realization is that the only changes that can occur to my attitude and in my life are those that I permit. And other people have no say in that. That's for me to decide. And if I know that the mirror was cracked, then I don't need to take it personally. I don't need to take it into myself. And I don't need to feel embittered or victimized for the rest of my life. I have my own agenda now and I set my own agenda. Other people do not set it for me.
Wonderful. Well, there you go, guys. Some really good tips. So we'll leave it there in our first session on fear, anxiety, and panic attacks, which we're going to get into. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, David, and we'll see you all in the next session of Life is for Living.
My pleasure.